It's baptism weekend, everybody. I'm very excited. Let's clap for all those that are getting baptized this weekend on our 3 campuses. Baptism is so significant for us. It represents great life change that somebody has come and decided for themselves to believe and decided for themselves to publicly identify with Jesus Christ through the death, burial, and resurrection, which is symbolized in the water. And I know many of you were baptized as infants because your parents decided that was a great church tradition, and there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you should consider, I don't get a commission, by the way, but if maybe y'all should consider getting baptized. We're going to baptize about 500 people this year, so I'm very, very excited about that. It's really great. Great. That's the business we're in. Well, I want to say hi to everybody at West End. Welcome out there. West End does something every year that's amazing. On December the 15th, they're doing their 3rd annual Christmas concert. This thing is going to be a sellout. Big horn section, strings. I'm going to be doing a Christmas interpretive dance. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to love it. Anyway, this thing's going to sell out by Wednesday or Thursday of this week, I believe. We're already sold a bunch. So you can go to westend.me/concert and buy tickets. The proceeds from ticket sales goes to Living Water International, which is going to help West End take a mission trip to El Salvador next year. And they're going to build a clean drinking water well for folks in El Salvador. So it goes to a good cause. And the music, it's a great date night, so you can do that. But buy your tickets today because it is going to definitely sell out for sure. I want to say hi to everybody. Oh, and by the way, West End men, listen, this is a commercial for you. Tonight at West End at 6:30, we're doing a men's night, grill night. So go by HEB, the new one on Washington's cool. And then get a chicken or a piece of chicken or whatever you want to cook, and I'll have the grill set up. I've got potato salad and desserts. Come. Kevin Garland's going to speak. It's going to be great. So come. Anybody's welcome to come, but it's a long drive for you guys. But you at West End should come. West End, show up for that. It'd be great. Missouri City, welcome. I'm glad you're there. Go by and see Nathan if you're new at Missouri City. November the 30th is your Christmas tree lighting at Mo City, so make sure you make plans on that. Okay, enough commercials. Well, listen, we're talking about relationships. Nathan did a great job last week starting this off. It's called I'm Right, You're Wrong, and Now I'm Lonely. It's kind of the picture of my marriage. And so it's been a crazy time. I've been married almost 32 years. We're finishing 31 years. Is that amazing? You're clapping for Lisa. How'd she do it? I don't know. So it's crazy. We've had some fun adventures along the way. Well, recently we've had this. If you follow me on Instagram, you follow this story. We've had these invasion of raccoons at our house here, and we've been trying to catch them. So I caught one real quick, and then there's another one. We saw 2, and we cannot catch this one. So last night, if you watch my Instagram story, then we put out a trap with a special deal trying to catch this second deal. Well, when I caught the first one, I realized once I caught the first raccoon, I didn't know what to do with it, but I knew I needed to get it in the truck and get it up here so that my brother could deal with it. And so we took a video of me trying to get the raccoon in the truck. This is what Lisa has to put up with on a regular basis.
You guys don't know, this is the most dangerous part of raccoon hunting. It's moving the raccoon to your truck so your brother can do something with it. So I'm going to try to do that now. Oh, God. Did you see it come at me? Did you see it come at me? All right, here we go. Oh, it snarled at me. It snarled at me. Well, I don't know how to get it in there. I know, it's scary. Oh my God, did you see that? It almost dropped out. Okay, the raccoon is in my truck.
How about that, huh? I hate rodents, and I know somebody said it's technically not a rodent. Well, it looked like a rodent to me. And my wife is not scared of anything like this, and so we have been trying to catch the other raccoon. So follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle, and you'll see what happened this morning as we tried to catch the second raccoon. So follow me on Instagram, you can see that. And it's the adventures of a raccoon trapper. So, well, listen, here's the idea. We're not very good at relationships, quite frankly. I know you think you are, but you're not. Nobody is. We're all broken, and it shows up most often in our relationships. Lisa and I lead a small group for young single professionals at the West End campus on Tuesday nights. And we had a group meeting last Tuesday, and I was just asking them Tell me about your worst kind of breakup, your epic breakup. And this sweet girl, Ashley, was sharing with us about that she had been trying to rekindle this relationship with a guy that seemed very, very interested. And she put a lot of effort into developing this relationship. And she thought everything was going well until she got home from a date. And she had a Snapchat, which I'm not even sure what Snapchat is, but you know what it is. Snapchat, and on the Snapchat, this guy, I don't know his name, we'll call him He Doesn't Have a Clue, breaks up with Ashley over Snapchat. And I thought, guys are stupid. I mean, really, that's just amazing. Breaks up over, who does that kind of thing? So we're just like these epic fails over and over again in our relationship. So if you're single, regardless of your relationship status, if you're single or divorced or wanting to get married or trying to get married or in a serious relationship or you're married, I think today's really going to help you. If you're single especially, it's going to help you kind of understand what it is that you're supposed to be looking for in how to develop an intimacy. That's what we all want. We all need to be loved. We all want our love needs to be met. We want to feel loved. We want to feel respected, but mostly we want to feel valued. And so we're trying to get that done. And so when Jesus showed up on the scene, here's the deal. I know not everybody here or at West End or Missouri City are followers of Jesus, but you find yourself at church exploring this idea. And I just want to present this idea that the way God relates to us is completely different than the way we relate to Him and the way we relate to others. And I think if we could learn something today about how God relates to us, we can come to a place where we can build great intimacy with others, especially somebody that we love very, very much. And so I think we're going to identify one of the problems today. So here's the story. Let's go back to Jesus. Jesus is sitting down with his disciples, and he's explaining to them this new thing is beginning because he is the promised Messiah. For really hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years, now the Jewish people were waiting for this Messiah. So Jesus shows up and says, I am him. And then he sits them down, and he says this in John chapter 13. He says, a new commandment I give to you. Now, I've talked about this before, so if you're not new, you've heard this, but this new commandment, that must have been strange. In our day and age, it's not strange. A new commandment. Okay, he's going to he's opening a big statement with this opener. And so, but this was a kind of an attention getter then. Think about this. The men he was talking to were all Jewish Orthodox men. They had grown up in the temple. They had kept the Jewish festivals, the diet restrictions, all that stuff. They knew all the 10 commandments plus all the others. And so now he's saying, a new commandment I give you. It's like they must have thought, like when they're getting their attention, Jesus is about to pile it on. It's like we don't have enough religious things to do. Now he wants us to do one more thing. And then he goes on and says this new commandment I give you, love one another. Okay, love one another. And then he says, as I have loved you, so you must love one another. Now remember, this is a command. It's not a suggestion or here's some Dr. Phil tips on how to get along with other people. This is a command. Like, if you're going to follow me, here's what I'm expecting of you, to love one another. This wasn't an additional command. This wasn't like the Big Ten, which you kind of vaguely know. You could probably name 6 of them, right? And then all the 600 other commands that have been developed, and then this one that Jesus says. No. Jesus is saying this one command replaces all the others. This is the new way. This is the new covenant. Now, it's simple to understand, but hard to do. In fact, it's much more difficult than the things that they had been trying to live up to in the old religious ways. And so Jesus is saying, here it is. Here's the command I give you. Love one another. Now, he's saying here, I want you to raise this ideal of love beyond emotions. So he's not saying, I want you to feel something toward other people. This is the command I give to you. He's saying, love one another. In fact, he defines that. The Apostle Paul defines it in the book of 1 Corinthians. You know that verse that was read at your wedding? 1 Corinthians, love is patient and is kind and is gentle. It's not self-seeking. It's not rude. It's not easily angered. All that stuff, Love is an action verb. It's something that you do. So when he gives this command, he's saying, I want you to do something, to live out your life in such a way that you love, that you do this thing that I'm telling you to do toward one another. And then, are y'all still with me? I've had a lot of coffee this morning, and I'm excited about this. Okay, so he's not saying love one another as best you can. Give it a good shot. Give it a good try. Take the model from your home that you grew up in, or your way your mom and dad related to each other, or the things that you've seen. Do that. No, he says this. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. So I know you'd expect a pastor to say this, but one of the ways that you can improve all your relationship is to figure out how God loves you. That the fact that matter is God, I don't get this. I don't understand this. But God wants this relationship with you, broken humanity. And you can do nothing for him. He doesn't need you or me. But he wanted it. You were created to have a relationship with the one who created you. That's why you're here. Is he created you for fellowship with him. He's got purpose and meaning for your life. But the thing that stood in the way of that was our brokenness. He gave us a free will. And we've exercised that free will over and over and over again to do whatever we wanted to do, to live out whatever we wanted to live out. And that sin creates a gap between us and the holy God that we want to have a relationship with. And because of that, you've heard this verse, right? God so loved the world that he what? He gave. He gave his one and only Son, that whomever shall believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That Jesus came to seek and to save that which was lost. And so when Jesus died on the cross, he paid the penalty for your transgressions if you accept that, if you believe that. And then he rose from the dead to conquer the grave so that you and I could have a relationship with a living God, not an acknowledgement of some historical character. So he did, here's the point. I'm going to make one. He did everything he could do to provide for you and me to have a relationship with him. He paid the price. He sacrificed. He offered himself. So that's the example. So when he says, love one another like I have loved you, this is what he's talking about. It's a big thing. Now, here's the problem with our relationships. We, somehow growing up, begin to acquire desires and dreams and hopes. We package them together. We put them in sort of a little package and maybe a backpack, and we carry them around. And these are our hopes, dreams, and our desires that we have accumulated either from our family, like we grew up in this family and we go, oh, I want to be just like my mom and dad, or very often we grew up in a family that's kind of toxic, it's got some blemishes in it, and you say, I want to do the opposite of this. You know, we're either reacting or emulating. That's it. And so we're doing one of the two things. And we have these hopes and dreams. Maybe we went to college, or maybe we went off and served the armed forces or whatever, and we've accumulated. This is what I wanted. Here's my desires for how much money I want to make. Here's my desire about what kind of life I want to live. Here's my desire about what kind of home I want to, what kind of car I want to drive, what kind of career I want, what I want to look like. All these things. And we have this packet, and there's nothing wrong with any of that, by the way. I'm not throwing rocks yet, but it's coming. So you have all these things that you want to accomplish and do, but then you put them in your backpack and you meet somebody. And those desires and dreams and hopes become expectations now for the other person. This is the problem. It's like, I have all these hopes and dreams. I'm glad you joined the team. Here's my bag of hopes, dreams. And you know what? That person that you met, you fell in love with, right? They've got their own bag, their own baggage, if I may, and they've got expectations. So it's a clash of the baggage that comes into a relationship, right? And these expectations create sort of a debt-debtor sort of relationships. It's a performance-based system. It's like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If somebody told us this lie that it's 50-50. You do your 50, I'll do my 50. The problem is I don't really know when you've done your 50, but it always feels like you've coming up short. And I feel like I'm giving 65, 70, and you keep saying I'm at 30. Like I can't satisfy you. And then we leverage, here's the sickness of us all. We leverage our affection, our love, and our affirmation towards others until we get what we want. And these expectations are the problem. And man, from the resurrection on, people are pointing back to this idea that Jesus was the example. See, the problem is we have my dreams, my hopes, and put it up here. I think no, there it is. My hopes, my dreams, and my desires. And the key word here is what? Mine. So nobody grows up, maybe you did this, I did. Nobody grows up thinking, one day, my dream is to be the perfect person for somebody else. Most people dream it this way. My dream in life is to find the perfect person for me. Isn't that true? We just sort of enter into relationships in this sort of self-absorbed kind of way. We can't help it because they're my dreams and my hopes and my desires, and now they're my expectations, and now you're in my life, and so here they are. Good luck. And it becomes performance-based. Now, school and work are performance-based environments, but home is not supposed to be. And the ideal here is that God's telling us, hey, man, we've got to figure this out. So Paul even talked about this in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 2. He says, so walk in the way of love just as Christ loved us. See, he's pointing back to it, just as Christ loved us. Well, how did Christ love us? Well, he said he gave himself up for us as an offering and a sacrifice to God. Reject this if you want to. This is hard. So you're saying he's asking me to love my spouse or this person I'm in a relationship with and offer myself and sacrifice, just like Christ did for me? And the answer is yes. That's the key. That's what happy couples know. If not, you just got this endless negotiation of, well, okay, well, I did this, I kept the kids, now you keep the kids. Now, I do this and do that, and you just always sort of feel cheated in this deal, right? You always just feel like I'm never getting enough in this thing. It's kind of performance-based relationships kill intimacy every single time. So I remember growing up, I lived in a house that had a really big front yard. And we lived right next to the Dairy Queen, by the way, which is, I'd go over there, that's where I developed my problem. And I'd go over there, I'd walk through the drive-thru, and for 52 cents, I could get a dip cone. And because they knew me, they would double dip the chocolate on the dip cone. And I love dip cones. And I know where every Dairy Queen is within a 10-mile radius of this church. And so, and I remember this place because, man, it had a big yard, and my stepfather would always make me cut the grass. I was the oldest boy. My younger brother wasn't old enough to cut the grass. He always bought lawnmowers at garage sales and then fixed them up. So these weren't like powered mowers. It certainly wasn't a riding mower. It was a push-behind, breakdown type of mower. And I hated it. And one day I said, I don't want to mow the grass. I hate mowing the grass. I mean, I hated mowing the grass, especially in the hot summer. Oh my God, hated mowing the grass. Well, this was in a day when kids didn't get a vote. It's different today. Oh, honey, you don't want to mow the grass? You don't, oh, sweetie. Well, I don't want you to go to counseling later, so. This is the day. This is the day where my mom or dad would say, you think we really care how you feel? Here's all we know. The grass needs mowed. Get out there. You can feel any way you want to about it. And I remember mowing the grass. I remember hating it, loathing it. I had a fit, man. I was crying. I was so angry. And I had this thought. I remember this thought today because it was such an absurd thought back then. But I had this thought, and this was real for me. I really believed this for a moment. I thought, the only reason they want me around here is to mow their grass. That's it. Now, I had loving parents, but in that moment, I just believe that. That's kind of what happens, we just say, well, the only thing you want from me is this, and you just can't live up to it. And that performance-based deal just doesn't provide the. So I'm just saying, and I don't know your situation. Okay, I don't know your situation. But maybe the problem, gosh, I hate to say this, is your expectations. Maybe that's the problem. I'm not saying your expectations are unreasonable. I'm just saying maybe they're the problem. Because if you enter into your relationship with my, and then all of a sudden they're entering the relationship with my, now you're give and take. It becomes a transactional relationship where you do this and I'll do that. And this transactional relationship is very corporate, but not very intimate. And somebody's got to be the scorekeeper, right, of who's ahead. And the ideal that Jesus had was, no, I'm all in. So if you're single, listen to me. If you're single and you're dating somebody and they're all about themselves and you find yourself having to do whatever they want, and they're all about themselves, run. Run away. You can't retrain that. Just run away. I know you love them, and they have their moments, right? They have their moments where they feel so shameful and guilt that they've been so self-absorbed that they do something nice for you. You go, oh, see, he is nice. And then it's back to the same thing. Run away. She's not worth it. You can't do it. And I know you love him. You can't. I've never been able to talk anybody out of this, by the way, but just run away. And I'll write you a note. Because you don't know what to do, right? And it'll say, run away. And you put it in your pocket and you go, gosh, I'm really conflicted because I really like you and I really have this affection for you, but man, you're exhausting. I don't know what to do. And you pull out that note and you go, Patrick says, oh, run away. And you go. You have to have this mechanism, because especially if somebody grew up in a home where their parents were helicopter parents. Just look and see how mommy treats him. Oh, baby, you're so precious. You can do no wrong. I'm going to give you an award for participation. You're GT in everything. Oh, those teachers don't know. That boss doesn't know. They don't know. You're the best. You're incredible. They're going to walk into a relationship with you going, and you're going to go, what? You think I'm precious? You think I'm sweet? You think I'm GT in something? No, I think you're lazy. And that's... See, that's how it works. So you got to be careful. If you're single, you're picking somebody. This is the biggest choice of your life. If you're picking somebody that just can't get over themselves, then this is trouble. See, the ideal here is found in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. It says this: submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. The key is, the intimacy is not about you. Intimacy is about submitting to you. I have my hopes and dreams and desires, and I'm not going to turn those into expectations for my wife. Here's what Lisa and I have said. Nobody can make you happy. Lisa is not responsible. Lisa's my wife's name. Lisa's not responsible for my happiness, but I'm her best shot at a good life. You see how that works? I want her to have a good life. And there's got to be some sense that I want her to have her hopes, dreams, and her desires more than I want my own. And that I've got to be 100% in. And it takes faith in God. And you got to go, okay, this is about you, and I'm going to make this about you. And somehow you lay down those expectations and you give those to God and you trust. Now, I know, listen, some of you are sitting there going, but you don't know what I'm married to. And I'm saying the word that's key in that is this: mutual. It's right there. Mutual. And that mutual is key. If it's not mutual, then you're going to have more conversations. Listen to me clearly, because we've gotten a bad name on this deal. I'm not saying you should be disrespected or walked over or taken advantage of in any stretch of the imagination. If this isn't mutual and you're married to somebody that doesn't really invest in your happiness and in your joy, then you're going to have boundaries. So I get it. This was like the first 5 years of my marriage. Very difficult. Because I'm so self-absorbed and I'm so ambitious, and I just thought, Lisa's on my team, this is all about me. Now, I asked her last night, she said, I don't remember those first 5 years being that hard. I said, well, you drank a lot in those first 5 years. No, she's a little Church of Christ girl, she didn't drink. So I said, well, they were difficult. Because what happens if you have expectations and you need your love needs met, what happens is you try to manipulate or shame or control, right, to get your stuff, whatever it is. And somewhere through counseling or growing up or looking at somebody else, I said, oh, this isn't about me. So again, single people, if you're dating somebody and it's all about them, You're signing up for a lifetime of trying to retrain somebody. Very painful. And I got retrained because my marriage was not good. It wasn't fulfilling for either of us. And so I had to figure this out. How can I lay down my life? How can I serve? How can this not be about me? How can this not be a scorekeeping mentality of, well, you did this to me, so I'm doing that, or I did all these things, now can I go out and play? You know, that kind of stuff. And you just go, oh. It's funny. The last couple of years, I don't know why I've done this about last year and a half. I know I should be doing this the whole time, but last couple of years, I've done this thing where I've started opening the door for my wife to get in my truck. I'm not doing it because that's what you're supposed to do, or that's some sort of, romantic thing. I have an ulterior motive, but I open the door and she gets in, and I just started doing this. Nobody told me to do this, and I like to buckle. Here's my motive. I like to buckle her up, so I reach across her and I want you to be safe, and buckle her up, and then every single time, I'm really right close to her, so she always gives me a kiss on the cheek. Sometimes I turn my head. Stick out my tongue. Anyway, so, no, gross. That's gross. Sorry. Sometimes I do, though. Yeah. And I just do that. She's like a little girl. She's like, we've been married for so long and dated I've known her since she's 16 years old. She's like a little girl. It's amazing. See, here's a red flag for you. And I got to finish, but when you stop being grateful for the other person because you are expecting something, that's a red flag. You see, I want to go into the relationship and say, Lisa owes me nothing. I'm just here to serve her. And I know I'm not being a martyr. I get it. We have a mutual relationship, so I'm in good hands here. I get it. But, it's just when you stop being grateful, it's a red flag. Like the other night, I come home, and she cooked me dinner. And she cooks a lot, but I was like, oh, my gosh, she cooked me dinner. I was just so grateful for that. I came in, and I go, you cooked me dinner? She said, oh, it's not much. It's just some sausage and potatoes and some bread. And I said, oh, but you cooked me dinner. She said, that's not very good. And I said, well, yeah, I didn't say it was good, but don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying the word, it wasn't. But the thing is, she cooked me dinner. That's different than expecting in, you walk in and goes, where's dinner? Did you have a busy day? I just asked for one meal a day. Why can't I get dinner? That's a performance-based relationship. And somebody on the other end of that's going, how do I keep up with this? She owes me nothing. That's scary, isn't it? You have to have faith in God. You have to have faith in God in this deal, because it's like, she owes me nothing. Everything I get is, I'm grateful for. I'm just so grateful for it. It's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. That's where intimacy flourishes. And here's what I can tell you about my wife. She's doing the same thing for me. It's like a submission competition. I'll get that. No, I'll get that. No, I'll get that. I'll get that. Well, you could have got the raccoon, but I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get the raccoon, whatever. Okay, you get the raccoon, I'll record it. It's a submission competition. That's what it is. And I don't want to put all my expectations on her, that she's going to make me happy. That's my responsibility with God. And my marriage has gotten so much better when I got out of the way, when I quit demanding, when I quit expecting. And we have conversations, and we get hurt feelings, and we get all that stuff too. We're not perfect anyway, but we're in a good place. And it's because it's all about her. And she's saying, no, it's all about him. And we're 100% in, sacrificing one for another. See, if you're waiting to meet that perfect person to meet all your needs, you are going to wear them out, and intimacy will not flourish. But We enter into it with those expectations. And Jesus says, no, 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 no. Love the way I loved you. Sacrificially, 100% complete. I'm in because of my good character and because I love you. I've just decided to love you, and I'm going to do it, regardless of what you do. And I'm telling you, it's what happy couples know. So if you're dating, use that as a filter. If you're in a marriage, I recognize I don't know the complexities of your relationship, and you're going to need wisdom, okay? But if you're both of you are looking at how do we make our marriage better, this is the deal. Mutual submission. Let's pray together. Will you pray with me? Father in heaven, thank you for my wife. Thank you for Lisa, that she wants the best for me and I for her. And thank you that you've given us an example that the faith we have in you is really to experience your love for us, the created, loved by the Creator. And I know there's some tough relationships here and at West End and Missouri City. And I just pray you'd give us wisdom, that you'd give us a sobriety of understanding, that maybe it's my expectations that are causing the problems. Maybe I'm in a performance-based relationship that I'm the scorekeeper of. And if you're dating, I just pray for you right now that you look for somebody that you could submit to and serve, not somebody that's going to meet all your needs and the perfect person for you. And God, I just pray that this ideal of faith in you would make its way into our homes, into our lives, into our relationships. And if you're here and you've never given your life to Christ, you should really do that. You should just say, God, I believe today. I believe Jesus died for my sins and was buried and he rose again. And I want that relationship with you. It's that simple prayer that begins a beautiful relationship with your Creator. God, please bless our relationships. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.